Welcome to today's video, everyone. Today we're going to be going over, pretty sure this is everyone's favorite subreddit, Am I the Butthole? Where you get to read stories from random people and we get to decide whether or not they are the butthole. Am I the butthole for refusing to force my daughter to shave for a wedding and backing out of paying for it when we were uninvited? I honestly can't believe this situation has come to this, and I really need some outsider perspective. I'm a 35-year-old man, and I have two beautiful daughters, Lucy 7 and Molly 16. I adopted them both and have raised them by myself their entire lives. I also have a sister, Julie, 33F, who is getting married in 2 months to Paul, 35N. Both Julie and Paul are lower middle class and have been saving for years and for their very expensive dream wedding. Even with all the prep, they're about 14,000 short. I own a law firm and am doing quite well, so I offered to help cover the remaining cost. The trouble arose last week when Julie and I took Molly and Lucy dress shopping. She picked out a short sleeve dress just above the knee dress for Molly. It looked beautiful on her and everything was fine until Julie said that Molly would have to shave. Molly is autistic and generally has low support needs, but sensory issues are a big one for her. She doesn't shave any body hair at all because of the feeling, which is 100% okay in my book, and her body, her choice. So when Julie said this, I told her no, that Molly would not do that and she could either pick a longer dress or let her be. Julie got heated and we left without purchasing anything. The next day, Julie asked if I had thought about how foolish I was being and Molly needed to learn to suck it up, that nobody wanted to see that blah blah blah. Things escalated again and she ended up uninviting us. I told her that was fine, it was her wedding. I hadn't heard from her until today, when she called to ask me when they could discuss what I would be paying for and when. I asked if she was joking, and told her because she uninvited us, I wouldn't be paying a cent. She started to freak out, first getting angry, and then began to cry over the phone. I hung up on her. She apparently called our mum, aunts, and grandparents and told them I was ruining her wedding. Now I'm getting calls about how cruel and heartless I am, and that I'm not entitled to have my kids at the wedding, especially from my mum, who reminded me that this is Julie's big day and she's been dreaming about it since she was little. Some people think I should just pay even if we can't go, while others say that Molly needs to grow up and get over it. I think someone who can't accept my daughter doesn't deserve my money. So am I the butthole? Am I the butthole for arguing with my parents because they bought new windows and doors for my new home without asking? I, 30F, got into a huge argument with my parents today because they just decided by themselves to change all my windows and doors in the house that I bought. They don't live with me, without even asking me once what I want design-wise or if I even want it. It's already done. They ordered everything and things will be delivered next week. They told me that I'm an ungrateful kid who doesn't know anything about life and I should just close my mouth and take it since they are paying for it anyway. But I didn't ask them to, nor did I want to change the doors at this moment, since I'm taking out all the floors and bathroom tiles, which is super messy and dusty, so the old doors are great since I don't have to be careful with them. They threw all doors out today already. When I came home to the house, all doors were inside the garbage container. They think that because they can blow money in my face, I should just accept it. I feel bad that I got mad at them since money-wise this is a very generous gift, but on the other side, they are way out of line in my opinion. Edit since asked a lot. In my family, it's normal to have the keys to the houses. My parents and siblings all got keys since I got theirs as well. However, I don't go there unannounced or without permission, nor do my siblings. Only my parents are going mad here, lol. Alright, well I think it's a really nice thing for like parents, your parents, anyone to do to, help cover the cost in renovating a new house, getting doors, windows. But if they really wanted to go about it the right way, then they probably should have talked to you first because, I mean, there's no point putting in new windows and doors if you've still got more renovations to do. They're kind of a little bit more finalizing the touches, so they kind of have ordered them at the wrong time anyway. And I think it's a bit rude for them to kind of come back at you like, oh, you're just being ungrateful for them not reaching out to you first to figure it out. Am I the butthole for not letting my dad's friend attend his medical appointment? Bit of context first. My mum and dad have been married for 60 years. They both have had affairs. Mum's ended a long time ago, but my dad's friend is still in his life decades later. My mum hates confrontation, so she puts up with the situation and the friend even visits their house and stays for tea. My dad's friend tries so hard to be helpful and takes him to doctor's appointments and out for evenings, which has really helped him and me, otherwise I'd have to take him meaning time off work. My dad is, by the way, is 94. Anyway, Dad is in the hospital and pretty unwell. There's a doctor's meeting Monday and the friend wants to attend to help represent Dad, who can't talk for himself right now. Problem is, we were all at the hospital recently and Mum lost her temper, in private with me afterwards, about how the friend behaved, so I told the friend she couldn't come to the meeting. I feel like a butt, because I know my dad would want her there, but I know my mum will be so upset if I let her. My mum's a sweet little old lady, and the friend is very assertive, meaning I always feel I need to stick up for my mum because I'm confident and assertive, the opposite of her. I'm fed up of being in the middle though. I think if your mum and dad are still married and they've, tried to swear off their outside relationships, so to say, then I think it's a bit weird that the friend, while it seems helpful in some contexts, they're not being nice about everything, and it kind of feels like they're butting into like a family that they're not really meant to be a part of, and it's kind of going over just because they're steamrolling like over your mom. I don't think it's the butthole to stand up for your mom. Um, I know that the dad can't exactly speak for himself anymore, but there's a lot of things that could happen with your dad being 94 and vulnerable that this person might be trying to do, like get money before, like in the will or something, or act as their lawyer or anything like that. So I don't think you're the butthole for standing up to them. I think that they're not exactly part of the family and they don't need to be there for the thing. They can always find out afterwards. Am I the butthole for choosing to spend time with my kids rather than help my sick girlfriend? I, 45M, have been dating my girlfriend 40F for almost 2 years. She is a widow with two small children and no family in the state, while I am divorced and to have two boys 50% of the time on a week-on-week basis. My ex normally works on weekends, so I usually have the kids on weekends that are not on my custodial time. My girlfriend expressed her disappointment about me not spending alone time with her kids, and my boys are always around. Now to this week. She has been sick as a dog for the past week while I was on an international business trip. While I made time to FaceTime, she wasn't happy with the fact that I was traveling. So I promised that I will help her this Saturday, that is not on my custodial time. My ex asked me Saturday morning if I could take the kids as she had a last minute shift and she couldn't get a babysitter on short notice. And since I didn't see my kids for a whole week, I said yes and got the boys. Now my girlfriend is mad at me, told me that she is hurt and disappointed, and made me feel like garbage because I'm not helping her while she is sick, and I chose to have my kids in a non-custodial time. Am I the butthole for choosing to spend time with my kids instead of taking care of my girlfriend and her kids while she is sick? I think it's really like a difficult thing going dating once you're divorced and you've got kids. Not that I have any experience with that, but like obviously a situation like this arises. I would say that if it was me, I would be wanting to spend as much time with the kids as I can, and that if they came up on a weekend and I want to see my kids, I'd take my kids. I think that when you have kids, they kind of become your priority, and I think that she should maybe like feel this way as well, seeing as she has two kids as well, and that like while he did promise to be with her, the kids take priority, and I like I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think it's a hard thing to accept, but I don't think he's done anything wrong. Am I the butthole for being sarcastic when my stepmother asked me to give pep talks to her daughter, accusing her of trying to pass the problem off to someone else? I'm 15M, and my stepsister Melanie is 14F. My dad and her mum Laura, both late 40s, got married 4 years ago. Melanie flat out told me she didn't approve of her mum remarrying and wants nothing to do with the new husband or his kids. I deliberately don't talk to her because the dislike is mutual at this point. Melanie can't work with people at school either. She goes on her phone and won't talk to members of group projects. Laura complains whenever the school writes home, saying that it's exaggerated, not true. But I believe that it's because Melanie's the exact same way with us at home. The trouble now is because Laura wanted Melanie to join a school leaders program that gives priority for honors/AP classes and some other benefits. The program rejected Melanie with a statement that Melanie had good grades but she's not a team player and therefore a bad fit for the program. Even though we're not even at the same school, Laura asked me to help encourage Melanie to come out of her shell with pep talks. Her logic was that Melanie doesn't seem to respect her or the school counselor, and she's hoping that I could get through to Melanie as someone who's her age and knows how it is as a child of divorce. I said no and that Melanie needs to see a therapist, not a step sibling. Melanie's dad is a cop. I know they have good health insurance, and he should get something for her because she obviously isn't taking the divorce or new school well. Laura asked if I could still give Melanie pep talks, but I pointed out that me and Melanie don't like each other and Laura knows that. And does she expect Melanie to be like, I treat my own mom like she's nothing, but oh yes, I'll definitely listen to you, stepbrother who I barely even acknowledge? Laura called me rude and claims it takes everyone chipping in because therapy isn't an instant fix when you have trust issues. This may sound valid on its own, but it all just comes off as her trying to pass the problem off to someone else considering she didn't get Melanie into actual therapy years ago. My dad said he got my logic for refusing and I had valid points, but at the same token, there was no need for the sarcasm and I was rude. I'm sure I was rude, but this has honestly been going on for too long. It's clear that Melanie isn't going to change without an actual therapist and someone needs to tell Laura like it is. Am I the butthole? I think this kid is right in the fact that his stepsister clearly needs some outside influence, such as a therapist, like they suggest. Um, I think, like most 15-year-olds, they kind of knew they were being rude when they made the sarcastic comment. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't exactly make his point wrong, that he's a 15-year-old stepbrother of this girl who she doesn't like him, and he's what, a year older than her. They could even possibly be in the same like grade at school, and so I don't, I wouldn't expect his sister to even take him seriously or even value what he would have to say. I think like if you had a good relationship, that you could definitely try to talk to her and see if maybe you can promote her to be a more team player. But I don't think it should fall on you just because your dad is now with this woman who has a daughter around the same age as you. Am I the butthole for calling my husband a grumpy pants? This morning, Saturday, we slept in late, took our time doing the chores, and it was already almost 9 before my husband and I were ready to go to a walk to find some breakfast. It's a pretty regular Saturday morning routine to go out and walk together to get breakfast. Anyway, as we were getting ready to go, he sees me take a book out of my bag of holding and set it on the table. He says, "Did you have my book in your bag?" And I said, "Yeah. I told our daughter was reading it yesterday when we were out." And he says, "But I didn't know you put it in your bag." And I get it. He takes better care of books than I do, but in general, the book was fine. He only knew it was in a bag because he saw me take it out, not because it was damaged. Anyway, I explained I had it, and it was fine. He was like, "I don't want it going into your bag." It was annoying, but whatever. So then I'm getting my shoes on to go out for a walk, and my dog comes up because he thinks he's going. And I say, "Sorry, dog, I'm going out with Mr. Grumpy Pants this time, not you." To which my husband replies, "No, you're not. I can't deal with you this morning." And now I'm sitting alone a few blocks away, crying after storming out. I really enjoy our walks and thought it was mutual, and if that statement that it was dealing with me didn't stick right in the gut. So who's the butthole? Edit, I put his book in my bag because he had loaned it to our daughter, who brought it along while she and I were out running errands yesterday. She asked if I could carry it in my bag. I thought nothing of it. A bag of holding is a messenger bag from ThinkGeek. And thanks for all the replies. It seems I am, in fact, the butthole in this morning's drama. I've apologized, actually, and so has he. I mean, they kind of answered their own question in the end there, but from my take on it, I think it all depends whether this is something that you know about your husband and his books, that you know he doesn't put it in bags. He reminds you that it's not something that he wants to do, because I chug my books in bags all the time. If someone had my book in their bag, I'd be like, that's where it went. I wouldn't be worried about it. I do think that sometimes people are feeling vulnerable, or they're not very happy, and so you make a little comment like, he's a little bit of grumpy pants, and they can take it wrong. They can feel annoyed. Um, Maybe it's just like a vulnerable or like titchy morning for everyone, and so it all just kind of came apart. But it doesn't seem like the biggest deal for everyone, and clearly they both apologized. So I think everything is gonna sort itself out there. Am I the butthole for asking my roommates to stop having overnight guests? I, 21M, rent a place with two other guys, 22M and 21M, in college. I am not close with either roommate, and the only reason we live together is because a mutual friend helped us both get connected. I didn't have a place to rent for the semester, and neither did they. Over the past month, the roommates Alex and Connor have had overnight guests 3 times so far. Ordinarily, I wouldn't mind if they just visited for the evening, but their guests take up the entire living room and kitchen, and I feel as though I cannot leave my room to go downstairs. Not only that, but they are somewhat loud, and I always get blocked in the driveway, which is a huge pain when leaving for work. Alex also tells them to use our bathroom to shower in the mornings, so I have to wait like over a half hour just to get ready. The first time they were having people over, no one bothered to tell me, so when I got home in the late night hours, I worked part-time as a delivery driver and got off work late. I walked in to see like 3 random people asleep in the living room couch, and being as late and dark as it was, I was not expecting to see people there. Also, I asked Connor the next day to please tell me when they plan to have people over next, and he didn't seem to care that I felt trapped in my room or that they blocked my car in. Since then, they've had guests over twice more, and I guess technically he tells me beforehand, but only like an hour or two prior. I really just do not at all like having random people over, and I am frustrated that this is like the 3rd time in the past month that it keeps happening, and I know it will only continue. The guests, while being all out too, always end up staying the entire day the next day, and it is always on the weekends, so I can never really enjoy any peace and quiet on the very few days I don't have class or work. I really want to say something to the roommates, but I know they would just say I'm overreacting and that it's not a big deal. Am I the butthole for getting furious at them for always having random people over, even though I never voice my frustration? Flatting is such a tricky game of like uh, all the different people trying to live together. I'm glad that I'm not in a situation like that anymore, just because it is a whole thing. I think I completely understand the like feeling trapped in your room because you don't want to go out there with everyone else. Like if you want to go out, you want to do your own thing, you want to feel comfortable. I mean, who are these random people? You have no clue. Um, but at the same time, like if you wanted to have friends over, would you feel annoyed if someone wasn't happy just because you had some friends over? Like it's it's a bit of give and take. I think like the best thing that you can do is try and have like a sit down with everyone and try and lay out some ground rules, like they park on the street so that they don't block in your car, and so that everyone who doesn't have the friends over can get to work, or they have you park on the street and the friends block them in so that they have to deal with it. um, and like trying to give 24 hours notice or as early as you can to make sure that everyone knows what's going on. Or then just like if they could get a blow-up mattress instead of having everyone sleep on the couch, so that you can actually have your room while they take the friends and go into their own space rather than the shared living space, so that it feels more comfortable for everyone. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you've enjoyed these Frosty memes that I've spoon-fed to you. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, subscribe, do that stuff. Peace.